This is the Boya Mic 2. It is Boya's first ever 32-bit wireless microphone system. I've had the pleasure of using it for 2 weeks before it was even available in the stores. Yeah. They sent me this on embargo so that I could learn more about it and teach you all about the features of this microphone system. This is Boya's first entry into the professional 2.4 gigahertz microphone market. The Boya Mic 2 has some really cool features, and if you'd like to learn more about these features and how to use this microphone system, then keep watching because you're watching Blue Collar Guy. Okay, we're back. So I've already had this microphone system for 2 weeks and I've already unboxed it. And I have a separate comparison video comparing it with the DJI Mic 2 and the DJI Mic Mini. And if you want to see that video, all you got to do is hit like and subscribe and that notification bell. And when I upload that video, you'll get it right away. But today, we're going to be doing an instructional video about all of the features that this microphone system has to offer because it has a lot of features. It also has an app. They can connect it with the unit and you can actually expand on the features with the microphone system through the app. So full disclosure, Boya did send me this microphone system at no cost to myself. However, this is not a sponsored video, meaning they did not pay for the production of this video. I also don't have any paid affiliate links with Boya or Amazon. So if you buy this microphone, I do not get a commission. I wanted to make sure that my review of this microphone system was as honest as I could possibly make it, given the fact that I received it on embargo and at no charge. I agreed to do this video because I wanted to collaborate with Boya on making a microphone system that would benefit a YouTuber. Yes, you. And I wanted it to have all of the features that a professional microphone system would have. So let's go to the downward shot and take a look at this 32-bit wireless microphone system. I've already got it out of the box. I'm going to show you what it comes with and all of the features that it has. Okay, so now we're on the downward shot, and this is the box that you get when you buy it. Now, my box has already been opened, and I have a separate video, as I said before, where I unboxed it and I was comparing it directly with the DJI Mic 2 and the DJI Mic Mini. And if you want to see that, just hit like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll get that video as soon as I publish it. Today, we're going to be looking at what you get when you open the box. So when you open the box, this is what comes in it. You get the wireless microphone system. It has a nice little charger. It's got a USB-C. And when you open it up, there is your microphones. And I'm going to just tilt it like this because of the lighting that I have going on in here. So as you can see, it's very similar to the DJI Mic 2, but there's also some differences as well. We even have the USB-C, and it even came with a Fire connector. So if you have an iPhone, don't worry, I got that as well, and you can connect it with your iPhone. But I don't use iPhone, so I just got the USB-C one. And when you open it up, it automatically will pair with the microphones. So if you take this out and you've already paired them and you put them back in, it'll automatically pair, so you don't have to worry about that. It'll do that all by itself as soon as you put it back in its charging case. Now, the other thing that it comes with is it came with this little bag here. And inside the bag, you get 2 of these. I've already got one out and it's already set up, but you've got 2 of these wired lavalier mics, and it looks like they're gold-plated tips on these, which is nice. It also comes with the connector so that you can connect your receiver with your mirrorless camera. And as I showed you before, you can also connect it directly with your phone. And here is the little clips that you get with it. And they come separately in a bag. And as you can see, they got quite the little teeth on them, and they will grab onto anything. Now, you also got these 2 little wind muffs that you can put on the microphones. And no, you cannot close the case, unfortunately, if you have these mounted on the microphones. But they do come off and on rather easily. So they mount very similar to the DJI Mic 2. They've got the little plug here, and they come off. And they actually come off a little more easily than the DJI Mic 2 does. So I'm not, like I said, we're going to be doing a separate comparison video, but they plug on and off just like that. but they're on there. Like, you can hold the microphone by the wind muff and that's fine, but if you were to give it a little bit of a shake, it may come off, but as you can see, it's kind of on there. So now, unlike the DJI Mic 2, it comes with wired lavalier microphones. It has two of these, just so you know. I've got the other one hanging up. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's already done. So I'm just going to grab it. And this is what it looks like when it's already got the windscreen on it. And yes, you can get the little furry windscreens aftermarket, and you can buy those, and they do work with these, because I've already done that. So I've already tried that, and I'm going to put I'll put a link in a later video to those. But on this video, I'm going to put links in just how to get this microphone system and everything that it comes with. So how you attach the clip to it is it comes with this little thing here, and it is on there really good. So how you attach this is you simply hook it onto here, and it is on there too. Like, this is on there, like, it is not coming off. And if you're wondering if you can get different kinds of clips, I've actually ordered some different kinds to see if they will work with this lavalier mic. When you get the wired lavalier mic, if you wanted to use it, you would simply connect it with the TRS connector inside the microphone itself. And then you would clip this on with this little clip right here. And I'm going to install it. So you can install that like so. And believe me, it is a tight fit, because they don't want this thing to pop off. Okay, so that thing is on there really good now. And then it comes with the little muff. And you can get these in the furry design, but you can get them aftermarket. And I've already asked Boya if they would sell those as an aftermarket item. And we'll see what happens on that. But other companies do sell these. So that it'll be a little more like this when you install that. And I find that these are a little bit more effective on wind resistance than these. But keep in mind, you would have to adjust your EQ. But we're going to get into how you can do that on this system, because guess what? You can. And this is the cable. All of the fittings are gold plated, which is really nice. So these are all premium items. And the fact that you get these wired lav mics with it is something that DJI doesn't do. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out all of the microphones, and I'm going to take this out of the charging case, and we're going to show what it looks like, because now it's automatically paired with both of these. So ease of use, very, very simple. On the back, you have the connector, so you can connect it to your phone. And when you do that and you activate the app, you can change the settings, which is really nice. But it does have a touch screen. Yeah. So as you can see here, it's gone to transmitter number 2. Now, whatever one transmitter number 1 and 2 is, you can distinguish. So if you want to do transmitter number 1, there's transmitter number 1. And there's transmitter number 2. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in a bit, because we need to get a better look at this wireless microphone system. So, okay, so here's the screen. And when you first look at the screen, you'll see transmitter number 2. And if I swipe over here, I've got transmitter number 1. And if I swipe, and it's very responsive, I've got my levels. I've got my levels over there. This little indicator down here tells you if you got your noise cancellation on or off, and what level of noise cancellation. This one here tells you if you got your 32-bit float activated. If I was to hit the record button on one of these microphones, if I was to hit the record button on one of these microphones, then the record light comes on the receiver as well. So if you look at that, you'll see the record light right there. If I hit the record button on here, I get a second record light over here. So this tells me that this is transmitter number 1, and this tells me that this is transmitter number 2. How cool is that? Now I've turned the record button off of there, and I've turned the record button off of there. So if I swipe to the right, I'm going to get transmitter number 1. And if I go over here and I swipe to the left, I'm going to get transmitter number 2. Now, if you look over here, I can also turn on the record button and the record button. If I go over here, I can mute the mic. If I tap there, I can unmute it. And if I go here, I can turn on the noise cancellation. And I can even adjust the noise cancellation to different levels. So this is noise cancellation off. This is noise cancellation strong. And this is noise cancellation weak or mild. Okay, so there's off. And if I go over here, I've got transmitter number 1. And I can also activate the record button. I can also hit the mute button. And I can activate the different levels of noise cancellation. So you're not limited to either noise cancellation being on both. You can control them individually, which is really nice. So now, if I hit this button up here, I'm going to have access to my gain. So if you look, I got access to my gain, and I've also got access to the reception level of this microphone. So if you look over here, it tells me that I'm receiving a strong signal of this transmitter, and this one is receiving a strong signal of this transmitter. So it gives you individual, full awareness of what each one of these is doing. Now, if I click on this, I can control the gain up and down. If I click it again, then I go to this one, and I can control the gain of that one. Okay. If I click it again, now I've got the gain of the receiver itself and what it's going to be doing with my camera. So I can change that as well. And there's your information down here on your noise cancellation and your audio settings. So right now it's on original audio. And if I hit the noise cancellation, see, it's got noise cancellation strong. And as you can see, strong comes in as a green color. Now, if I change that, I'm going to change that to noise cancellation weak. So let's just go to this one, and I'm going to change it to weak. And if I hit noise cancellation, see, now it shows up white, not green. So that tells me that noise cancellation is on weak. And if I swipe again, and I go to off, so if you have no symbol here at all, that means you do not have noise cancellation activated. Now, I'm going to swipe down. So when you swipe down, now you're into your transmitter settings. If I swipe this way to the left, I have my receiver settings. If I swipe again, I have my main settings. Now in your main settings, you're going to have your display brightness. So you can either have it bright, standard, or dim. I've got it on bright. If I swipe down, or up, I'm sorry, then it goes back to the previous screen. There's your languages. You've got a choice between English and Chinese, and I'm sure they're going to add more later. And then this is your date and time. And right now it's like 2027, so we're going to fix that. We're going to go to 2025. And we are in the 5th month of the, well, today would be the 14th day. So today is the release day, so we'll fix that. And then you can set your time and your minutes after that. And it's in the 24-hour clock, just so you know. So if I click on that, it goes to 13, 14, 15, 16. So as you know, 13 would be 1 o'clock p.m. So we'll leave it on that. Now if I swipe up, and I can go over to languages, I swipe up again. Now we're going to go to your receiver settings. So I'm going to tap on that. I've got left and right recording mode. Here's my output gain, so I can set my output gain here as well. And I got my camera presets. There we go. So now on this microphone system, you can also have camera presets. So if I go here, I can click on Sony, Canon, Panasonic, Fujifilm, and there's also Nikon. Yeah, there's Nikon. Now if I go to Sony, let's go to Sony, because that's what I'm using. and then I scan to the right, then I've got a setting for A6400, A7C, A7R, FX30, FX3, and the camera that I'll be using, which is the Sony ZV-E10, and it tells you what the recommended gain will be. Now you've also got your speaker. Now this is an interesting feature because on some microphones, when you connect them to your smartphone, you cannot play back the audio while the microphone system is still plugged into the USB port. But this one allows you to do that. So I'm just going to go back to the receiver settings. I'm going to go back to that. So you can either shut that on or off. So if you don't hear the microphone system, like if you can't play anything back while it's plugged in, it means that this is in the off position and you need to turn this on. So now that it's on, I'll be able to play back audio while I'm using the microphone system. And now I'm also going to, now we also have an auto off feature, which allows you to turn off the microphone system if it's not used for a certain period of time. We're going to disable that because I want it to stay running. And this is so you can pair devices. So if you buy additional microphones, perhaps they'll come out with some white ones. I didn't see any white ones, but I'm sure that they're going to have a white one like DJI made. And they may have some other features as well. So you can link. So I'm just going to put these so they're still in the frame. Okay, so now we're going to go to the transmitter settings. Now the transmitter, you can control whether or not you want to see these little LEDs on or off. So I'm going to just turn this one so you can see it. And if I turn this and I shut it off, it shuts off the light. It's still working like it always does. However, that's not going to be distracting anymore. If you're worried about a light or a blinking light being a distraction, you can shut these on and off. And then you would simply go by your display here to see if your record button was on or if your record button was off. So here's an example. I have the lights turned off, but if I hit the record button, or I hit, sorry, that's the mute button. So I got the light turned off, but if I hit the record button, as you can see, the record button light still appears, and it appears over there. But now take a look at it. It disappeared. Okay? So it's no longer on. It's no longer distracting. But it does give you an indication that it was pressed. And if I hit it again, it comes off. But you don't see anything here. So I'll hit it again just to show you. It comes on just for a few seconds. And then it's going to disappear. There we go. Because I have it with the LED function off. We'll shut that off. Now over here, if I hit the mute button, which is also the power button, it'll mute the microphone, but there's no light showing on here. If I hit the noise cancellation, it'll come on, but that light should probably disappear after a couple seconds, and it does. There you go. It disappears. So it does give you an indication whether or not you've activated some of these things, but they're not going to be distracting. They're not going to stay lit. Well, you might want that feature. And then it changes blue to let you know that you've deactivated the noise cancellation. So let's go back and turn that on because I want to keep mine on. And then you've got your input gain, of course. You can swipe up. Now here is your EQ. Now this is really interesting. So this is one of the reasons why this microphone system would be classified as a prosumer or more professional system, is because you have your original, you have a low cut 75 hertz, you have a low cut 150 hertz, and then you can scroll over, you've got vocal boost, which is really cool, and then you've got custom settings, and you can adjust that through the app, and I'm going to get into that as well. So now we're going to go back over here. So that's your transmitter settings. We've gone over the receiver settings, and we've gone over the basic settings as well. And that's how the touch screen works. And you can also navigate some of these by, if I scroll here, I can use the wheel to scroll. And if I go like this, and I go to the receiver, the transmitter settings, I can use the scroll wheel to scroll through. So I can click on that, and then I can scroll through with this. See, so you can use the wheel too if you want, or you can just use your scroll settings. And then you've got your storage too, and it tells you how many minutes of storage you have. Because one thing I need to tell you is there's 8 gigabytes of storage. So when you have the 32-bit float engaged, you'll have 600 and I got 73 minutes. Now I have recorded some stuff on these, so I believe that it is, and I'm just going to go to my storage settings here. So let me go to that, and I'm going to just go here, and I can even format that. So let me format that. And I can do that with the receiver. I don't have to use anything else. And now I'm up to 673 minutes, and I can go to this one, and I can format that one. Now, if I turn off the 32-bit float, because keep in mind I have these on 32-bit float. So if I go into, I think it's the receiver settings, because I'm just going to go, no, it's not in the receiver settings. So I'm going to go into the transmitter settings. And if I shut off the 32-bit float, if I turn that off and then I go back, let me just scroll out of here, I go to storage, now I've got 899 minutes of recording. And that is quite a bit of storage. So I'm going to be using it with the 32-bit float, so I'm just going to scroll over and I'm going to activate that, and then I'm going to go back. And I'm going to go. And as you can see, the screen is so responsive. It's very, very nice. And then if I scroll up again, or scroll, then if you scroll up again, it'll go right back to its main screen, let you know that the transmitters are transmitting. This one here, look, I can see right away that I got -2 on here. So I'm going to change that. And I'm going to go back to my receiver settings to see if I've got my camera presets set. So I changed a few things here. There. And there. Okay. Okay. Okay, so -2 is where the receiver would be for the Sony ZV-E10. So it also has a preset indicator down here to say that I've got it on the camera preset and that it's at -2 because I got it set for a Sony ZV-E10. It also has presets for Panasonic, and it also has presets for Fuji and the other name brands as well. And I'm sure they're going to be adding more cameras to that list. So now if you look at the bottom of this, it's got the same, very similar cold shoe mount, and it even has a clip, so you can clip it onto things. This is your headphone jack, so you can monitor it with a headphone, and this is your microphone out. There's your USB-C, so you can charge this without the case. You can charge it through the jack. You can also do the same thing with each one of the receivers. They do not require a special docking port. Now I'm just going to go back to me for a second. I'm going to make a comment here. Okay, so one of the things that I did notice about this is that these receivers do not have haptic feedback. That means that they don't buzz or vibrate when you're going from one feature to the next. However, I didn't really notice any inconvenience to myself because it didn't have that haptic feedback. I also want to make a note, and I'm just going to bring up a DJI Mic 2 here for a second, that given the size comparison between these two, that is probably one of the reasons why the DJI Mic 2 is bigger and heavier than this microphone, is because of that haptic feedback, because it requires you to add another motor to it. So if you prefer haptic feedback, meaning that little vibration, it is possible that Boya could come out with an accessory that could attach to it later that could give you that haptic feedback, and probably wouldn't make it any much bigger than the DJI Mic 2. So if I was to give them any advice, maybe add that as an option later, or it could plug into this one and they could have haptic feedback. But for me, I don't need that feature, and I didn't really use it. And even though it is noticeable when you're using it, like some people would say, well, if it's dark, you would feel the buzz or anything like that. But it also adds quite a bit of weight to the microphone because you're adding that little spinning motor. So as far as the ergonomics of this microphone system, it is very well done. It's got a very nice grippy base on it here so that you can grip it, and if you look at the top of it, it's very nice and grippy there too, and the buttons are very easy and to get at. It's very intuitive and it's not hard to use at all. And it also has the little clip here, and you can run the wire for your wired lavalier mic so that it doesn't accidentally get pulled out of here. And that's a nice feature, and I think they borrowed that when they seen the DJI Mic 2 as well. So there are some similarities between this microphone system and the DJI Mic 2, but there's also some improvements. What they did is they took the DJI Mic Mini and they kind of put it on steroids, because this has internal recording and it also has the 32-bit float, and that one does not. But again, we're going to get into that comparison video at a later time. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Let's go back to the downward shot. I'm going to plug this microphone into my phone and show you how the app works. So we're on the downward shot, and this is the Boya app. It's called the Boya Central app. Now, this app is still in development. I just want to be clear on that. I've got beta versions of everything, and when I scan the QR code, the web page doesn't even come up. So just keep that in mind, that I am using beta software. Now, when I open the case and I grab the connector, when you're connecting these connectors to the receiver, you're going to place it in like so. So you're going to have your port that you're going to be plugging into your phone facing this plug here. So this is where you would plug this in to recharge it, but proper orientation of how to hook this into here. Make sure that the plug, the metal end, is facing the USB port. So if it's facing that direction, you know you're facing the right way. If it's facing over here, you know you haven't got it connected right. So you're going to put it in like so, and now it's facing this direction, not facing there, but over here. Then you're going to give it a turn. It's going to be a 90-degree turn, and now it is locked. So if you want to unlock it, you got to go counterclockwise, and if you want to lock it, you go clockwise. Then it will look like this. Now, when I go to connect it to my phone, because of my case, it won't reach. Okay? Now, I can take my phone out of the case, but I did find a solution. I'm just going to go back to me for a second. The solution that I have is you can get these little extenders. And if you want to know where I got this, I got them on Amazon. They're very easy to get. And I will give you a link if you leave me a comment, but I'm not going to put it with the other links with all the rest of this stuff because I don't want it to be too confusing. But basically what you do is you would just connect this to this like so, and now you've got a longer connection, and it's going to avoid my thick phone case that I just happen to use because, well, I just don't like dropping my phone and having it break. So we're going to go back to the downward shot, and now that I've got this on there, and it's quite a long connection, I can plug this into there and it will connect to there. And once you do, and I have to back up a little bit. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Okay. And it's going to say allow Boya Central access to Boyamic 2. And don't forget to give all your permissions, because if you don't, it's not going to do anything. So now it's saying we're connected. We've got the transmitters connected. And a nice little picture will come up here. And keep in mind, this is beta software. So if I tap on this, it's going to come up with all of the levels and everything. So if I talk into this transmitter, as you can see my levels on the phone. And if I talk into this one, you're going to see the levels of that one because it's over here. See, it's got both of them. And I can even adjust my mic gain and everything on my phone as well. So there's different ways you can make all your adjustments. Now, noise cancellation here, I've got on and off. I can adjust my record on there. I've got a safety track. I can put it in mono, stereo, safety, and I have activated the safety track. And now I can also go into other features as well. So if I hit this little symbol over here and I go into there, there's transmitter, auto recording, transmitter lock, because you can lock your transmitters so you don't accidentally hit any buttons. And transmitter off, auto off is on. And if I go back here, now we're into the EQ settings, and this is one of the things you can do on the app. So I've got original, I've got vocal boost, I've got low cut, I've got 150 hertz, and I've got custom EQ. You can also do firmware upgrades. Now I've already upgraded the firmware on the receiver, but now that I have the transmitters connected, it'll say you can upgrade the firmware. So if you're going to upgrade your firmware, this is how you do it. I did the receiver before, and now I can hit upgrade now, and it's going to go to transmitter number 1. So one of the recommendations that I gave to Boya was to have all of those features put on the app to make it more easy for the user to upgrade the firmware so that they don't have to go onto a computer and download files, which can be really annoying. If you want to upgrade the firmware on your receiver, look, you can do it on your app. How about that? Isn't that fantastic that I can upgrade it on my app? And it's going to go through each transmitter. And if you look at the transmitters, they're going to be blinking red and green. See, they're blinking red and green. And the only thing I had to do was to take everything out of the box and do that. And it's going to upgrade the transmitter's firmware to the latest firmware. Right now we're on 2.15 or 2.18. And I believe it's going to change that to another firmware. So we're just going to watch this upgrade. Maybe I'll speed up the footage a bit because it does take a few minutes, and we're at 25%. So we're at 71%. And now if you look at the receiver, you can see that it's saying update. And do not unplug anything. Do not mess with anything. Just let it do its thing, and it will update everything, and then it will have to reboot. Because I do believe they're using some kind of an erasable, programmable, or a flash memory when they're doing their firmware updates, much like everybody else is using. Okay, firmware updated. So now the receivers have updated firmware. Okay, firmware updated. Okay, thank you. Okay. So now the system is rebooting. Okay. And it is connected. I'm going to turn on the receivers. There. There. One of them, there we go. All right. So now I'm going to go into the firmware, and I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go into the firmware. So the receiver version is 2.23, and the transmitters are at V2.18. Okay. So this is how you can check your firmware to make sure that you've got the right versions. Okay, now we're going to go back to here. There we go. So now I'm going to go into settings, and I've got the EQ on vocal boost, but we're going to change that to custom. So here is the custom EQ settings, okay? And you can adjust. I'm just going to go up and down on here and adjust the EQ. So this is custom 1, so I can get rid of them. And so this is what it looks like when you erase it. This is custom 2. So now I can adjust it. See how I can mess around with these little guys here? And I can play around and I can get these up and down. So I can click on these little grids, see? And I can click on those. They don't move like this, but you click on the little spot on the little intersecting lines, and then you can adjust your EQ, you can customize it, and then you can save it. So you can say apply, and then it will remember that, so that when you go into your custom EQ and you can change your settings. So if I want to add another one, so there's custom 1, there's custom 2, there's custom 1, and I can add another one called custom 3, and I can change that one if I want. So then I can go to custom 2, custom 1, custom 3, okay? And if I go up here, no, there's no way to name it. Okay. Okay, and then you can apply it. You can also go into custom 3, you can delete it, and go into custom 1, you can delete it, go into custom 2, and you can delete that. And then if I add one here, and I go to custom 1, 2, there, and then let's say I want to take off the high end, and I want to boost a little bit of the lows, but usually that's not how it's done. But you want to take off some of the semblance or something, and then you can go there, and then you can just apply. And then I've got custom 2, which is flat. I got custom 1, which is there. I'm just going to go back to me for a second. So one of the things I would like to change is that you can label your custom settings so that you can remember what they're being used for. And I don't think that would be very difficult to add that to the app. But again, this is beta software, and I'm sure that they're going to be making some changes to it. So I do like the way that you can change that settings. You can't do that in the DJI Mic 2 system, but you can do that with this one. The one thing that I'm going to mention, I got this. Okay, so what is this? This is a microphone tester. It does not have an amplifier. It is mainly a selector. So I can actually select from different microphones, and I can also select one microphone for different cameras. So this is a passive system, which means it does not have an amplifier, which means it's not going to contribute to amplifier hiss, which is good. So now we're going to test this microphone on different cameras. So if you're watching a wireless microphone review, don't you want to know if it works with your camera? It's because people have different kinds of gear. And I'm sure there's people out there with camcorders saying, well, does it work with a camcorder? Is there people out there with bridge cameras? And they don't know for sure. And they don't know what settings you would have to put it at. So I'm going to be going into all of that, and we're going to be testing out this microphone system with that. And we're also going to test out the noise cancellation, because this has AI noise cancellation, and the AI noise cancellation can reduce up to 40 decibels. And we just got a firmware update, and I'm going to see how well it works. So let's go to those videos, and then we're going to come back to me, and we're going to get the final thoughts on this system.
Okay, so this is me in traffic with noise cancellation off. I've got the Boya Mic 2 in recording mode. This is noise cancellation off. I'm going to turn noise cancellation on strong. This is noise cancellation on strong, and this is what it sounds like. This is regular traffic and everything else. This is noise cancellation on strong. This is noise cancellation on medium, and this is with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And this is noise cancellation on medium using the Boyamic 2, and this is what it sounds like. And now everything's quiet. We got some cars coming through. This is what noise cancellation sounds like in the off position. Okay, so this is with it off. I'm using the wired lavalier microphone. This is what it sounds like. This is with noise cancellation on strong. And this is what it sounds like. Tell me if you can hear any difference between strong and mild and off. This is noise cancellation on medium. Noise cancellation on medium on the brand new Boya App 2. This is what it will sound like if you have it on mild, medium. We'll call it mild noise cancellation. So what is the difference between AI noise cancellation and regular noise cancellation? Well, as an audio engineer, AI noise cancellation is using an algorithm as opposed to using a notch filter. So in the studio, we would use a notch filter to isolate a frequency, which would be a type of noise cancellation. But because it's AI noise cancellation, it is actively trying to find my voice and separate it from all the other sounds without removing the harmonics of my voice. So this is mild again. I'm just going to swipe over. And as you can see, now I'm going to go back to strong. This is strong. And it is noisy here. Believe me, it is very noisy. Okay, so I'm testing out the microphone on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I'm in a tunnel right now. And as you can see, the car's behind me. And we're testing out the noise cancellation for the Boyamic 2 and see if it can deal with this. So I'm going to switch over to that microphone right now, and we will go from there. Okay, so this is the Boyamic 2, and I am using it with the lavalier mic system. This is with noise cancellation off, so there is no noise cancellation activated. I'm going to activate the noise cancellation. It's going to go on to the strong setting. I'm using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 just in case I forgot to mention that earlier. So let's activate it. And now we're on noise cancellation strong. So this is noise cancellation strong using the Osmo Pocket 3. And I'm sure I must look like a weirdo because I've got all these cameras hooked up to me and I'm standing under a tunnel in a sketchy neighborhood in Montreal. But hey, a YouTuber's got to do what a YouTuber's got to do, right? So, anyways, there's the fire truck, as you can see. So that's with noise cancellation strong. I don't think you're going to get much more noise than that. So let's switch over to noise cancellation. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to noise cancellation mild. Okay, so that's noise. This is noise cancellation in the mild now. Now we're in noise cancellation mild. And I'm using the DJI Action 5 Pro to film the transmitter so I can hold it and show you where it is. So it shows mild, then it shows recording. And if I click that, now this is noise cancellation off. We're still doing internal recording. And this is noise cancellation strong. We're on noise cancellation strong. So I had to do this because flipping the camera around isn't going to work. This is noise cancellation mild. This is noise cancellation off. As you can see, this is noise cancellation strong. What is the difference between AI noise cancellation and regular noise cancellation? So as an audio engineer, I'll tell you, regular noise cancellation uses what they call a notch filter. It's going to isolate a specific frequency and that frequency only, and then that eliminates all the other frequencies. But then you're going to get some distortion as a result because the human voice has harmonics of that frequency. So AI noise cancellation takes it one step further and to try to restore some of those harmonics so that you don't have that issue. And that is the difference between AI noise cancellation and regular noise cancellation. That's the best way I can put it anyway. So I'm using the wired lavalier mic because I needed to hold the receiver in my hand, and it's included in the kit, so why not use it, right? And this is what it sounds like. So now I'm going to put the microphone, I'm going to connect it to my phone to see how that works. And we're going to also go through the features on the phone. I'm going to disconnect the Osmo Pocket 3, and we're going to go to the phone. Okay, so now I'm using my smartphone, the Google Pixel 8. I'm just got it wired this way right now so I can hold it and control all the dials easier. And this is without noise cancellation on. So now I'm going to swipe it to the right, turn it on. This is noise cancellation on to the maximum setting. And we're recording using the Boya Mic 2 in strong noise cancellation, and this is what it sounds like. Now I'm going to put on noise cancellation mild. Noise cancellation mild. This is on noise cancellation mild, and this is what it sounds like. And I'm going to turn it on, or I guess we'll call it noise cancellation medium, mild. I'm going to call it mild. Let's call it mild. And this is again with noise cancellation off. Now I'm going to go and show you something. Is when I had it hooked up to the Osmo Pocket 3 and I have it on my smartphone, and I'm just going to swipe down here. First of all, let's turn on noise cancellation. Okay, so now we got noise cancellation on strong because I want to make sure that this information gets through. So we're going to, right now, I'm going to go to the receiver and I'm going to show you something. So I've got it on auto gain. Now I can show this on the, here's auto gain. I'm going to show it on my phone. Turn auto gain on. The reason why is if you don't know what kind of camera you have, or you're not so sure what the presets are going to be, you put auto gain in on. And in that way, it'll take care of it for you. I've also got 32-bit float activated, so this way we're not having any issues with clipping. And I'm going to go through those audio files later. So we're going to go back to the studio, and we're going to compare this microphone with other microphones, because I'm tired of all this noise. So I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you there.
Okay, so this is quite the setup. Now I hope this works because I'm looking at 3 different cameras and I'm using, and I'm just going to hold it up really close, my little switcher box connected to the Boya system. So this way I can switch from one camera to another camera without having to plug everything in and out, and you know, it just wouldn't work out very good that way. It's not going to be very efficient because I need to be able to go back and forth between one camera to the other camera so that we can do a proper comparison. But wow, what a day. So I'm also got the Sony ZV-E10 and I've got it on product showcase. Now I'm going to just click it off for a second here. So let's start this. I'm looking into 3 cameras. I'm looking into a Panasonic WXF1, that's the camcorder right here. I'm looking at the Sony ZV-E10, that's the one right in front of me. And I've also got the Panasonic Lumix FZ2500 with a 1-inch sensor. Now I already did a video with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 outside with the noise cancellation, and I also use a smartphone because those are the 2 cameras that you're more than likely to use outside, and these are the ones you're more than likely to use inside. Having said that, you could take any one of these outside, but like the camcorder for instance. But so right now I'm using this little box right here, and I got all the wires connected to it, and this little guy here will allow me to switch this microphone here, okay, to any one of these cameras just by hitting a switch. So right now the Sony ZV-E10 is picking up the signal, and I'm not too sure about the levels on the other 2. However, I've got auto gain switched to on, and I've also got a safety track on here too. The output gain is set at plus 6 dBs, and Let me see. I'm going to just go to output gain. Okay. Okay, so I've set the auto gain on to test out to see if I'm switching between different cameras, how that works. Will it make up for the difference? And I won't know until I look at the footage later. So this is going to be interesting, right? And you're going to see different views of me. You're going to see what the Panasonic FZ 2500 is. But the main thing about this is that this little guy right here works with all of these cameras. Because if it doesn't work with all of them, then what's the point of getting one of these if it doesn't function properly? So instead of me getting one really expensive camera, I wanted to do a proper review channel and have many different types of cameras. And this includes cameras that sometimes I would not necessarily pick myself, but I know that some of my subscribers would have these cameras and I need to answer questions for them. For instance, I don't use the camcorder a lot, that one over there. However, it's got some features that I kind of like, but also a lot of subscribers use camcorders. Why? That camera will run all day long. It'll run all day, it won't overheat, no problems. Unlike the Sony ZV-E10 that I'm looking at right here. This one here will overheat, and I've got to be a little quick because if I'm not, it's going to overheat because it's set in 4K. Now, the bridge camera, the one with the 1-inch sensor, it's less likely to overheat. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had it overheat. So it's got a bigger body and that allows more air and things like that, so it's less likely to overheat. But we got to get on with this experiment. So right now I'm on the Sony ZV-E10. This is the camera that you're listening to this microphone. And I'm going to switch over to the second camera. This one here now is the Panasonic FZ 2500, and this is what this microphone sounds like in that camera. Now I'm going to switch over to the camcorder, and now we are on the camcorder and it is picking up, hopefully it's picking up the correct sound and it is recording it and we're getting the sound into the camcorder properly. I'm not too sure because I can't quite see the bars at the bottom of the screen to see if it's recording. I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure because it is pretty far away. And that's the nice thing about camcorders is they have that option. Now, the other reason why I wanted to do this comparison is because this microphone has another feature. It can be shown right there. So if you look, I've got different settings. I've got original, this is my voice right now, and then I've got low cut, 75 hertz, low cut 150 hertz, and then I've got vocal boost. We're going to try that too. And then I have a custom setting, and I can set that to whatever I want. Now I did use, I think it was the custom setting when I was outside, and the reason why is I wanted everything to be flat. So I flattened out the EQ, and at least that's what I hope I was doing, because this is a prototype, and I think that I got it right. So when I looked at the footage later, it looked like I got it right. So anyways, these are the different EQ settings you have. So I'm going to demonstrate each one with each camera. And this is why I got this switcher, because what a nightmare it would be to do it the other way, right? So I'm going to go to low cut. So this is low cut, and this is on the camcorder. So now you're listening to low cut on the camcorder. And now you're listening to low cut on the FZ 2500. And this is what it sounds like in low cut mode, 75 hertz. And now we're on the Sony ZV-E10, and this is what it sounds like in low cut mode at 75 hertz. Now I'm going to switch to low cut 150. Okay, so now we're on low cut 150. So this is low cut 150, and I'm on the Sony ZV-E10. The other cameras won't be recording any audio. And now I'm on the FZ 2500, and I can see my levels there. So I can see the levels on that one, but I can't see them on the camcorder. So I just hope it gets everything. And this is low cut on the camcorder at 150 hertz. So 150 hertz low cut, and this is what that sounds like. I'm in an untreated room. So now we're going to go to vocal boost. Okay, so I just activated vocal boost, and now I'm on the camcorder and I've activated vocal boost. So this is what it sounds like on the camcorder, and this is what vocal boost sounds like on the Panasonic FZ 2500. So this is the Panasonic FZ 2500, and this is what it sounds like. And this is what vocal boost sounds like on the Sony ZV-E10, and this is what it sounds like. Okay, and the other last one is custom. So custom is just a flat setting that I've got it set at. I'm going to put it on custom, and this is custom now on the Sony ZV-E10. This is what it sounds like, and I'm going to switch over to the Panasonic now, the FZ2500. Now I'm on the Panasonic FZ2500, and this is what it sounds like in custom mode. And you can change it to whatever you want, because that's why they call it custom. And I'm going to switch over to the camcorder now. And this is the camcorder now. And I am talking into the camcorder, and this is under custom mode. And once again, I'm going to go back through them all really fast. We're going to go back to original, just for, I guess they say, an audio palette cleansing, give it or take. So this is original. This is my voice original. And then I'm going to switch over to FZ 2500. This is original on the FZ 2500. And this is the original on the Sony ZV-E10. Now I'm going to install the lavalier microphone, just so that you can get a comparison between the lav mic and the non-lav mic. So I'm going to take this one off. You're going to hear probably a little bit of a noise. Put this on. Okay, so now I have the lavalier mic. I'm on the transmitter with the wire, and as you can tell, you can secure the wire by going like this and clipping it all the way through, and then it won't pull out. But I did recommend that they put an L connector here, so that way this doesn't kink on this side, because you don't want that to kink. I did send them an email on that, so we're going to see what the result of that is. But I do know that they got the email on that, but it will prevent it from, either way, it's not coming out. It's not coming out either way. It locks it in there, so you don't have to worry about that. So this is what the lav mic sounds like on the transmitter. And I'm going to switch over. And now we're on the lavalier mic going through the transmitter, and I've got it over here on my, it's mounted right here. And now we're on the camcorder, and we are putting the sound through the camcorder. So now we're on the camcorder, and we're putting the sound through the camcorder, and see what that sounds like. So that's pretty much it. I went through a lot of work just to get to this point, but you get so you have to be thorough when you're testing these type of microphones on different types of cameras, because not everybody's going to own the same camera, and not every camera is going to react well with every microphone system. So I just switched back over to the Sony ZV-E10. So this is what that sounds like. So I'm going to go back into the studio, and we're going to talk about who this microphone system is for, and what are its strengths and what are its weaknesses, because it does have a few weaknesses. However, it has a lot of good strengths as well. So let's go back into the studio. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to wrap this up. So we're back in the studio, and we're giving our final thoughts on the Boyamic 2. And I put this thing through its paces. I ran it through different cameras. I ran it outside. I tried the noise cancellation. I really put it through the ringer. And I owed it to you as a YouTuber to do that, because they sent this thing to me 2 weeks before you got it. And I knew that a lot of people would be watching my video on learning is it a good buy? How does it work? Does it work well? Well, let me tell you something. I'm using it right now. I'm running it through my video switcher because that's my final test. Can it work with a video switcher? And the answer is yes. I got it plugged into my Sony ZV-E10 and I'm running it through my video switcher. So what do I think about it? I don't know exactly what they're going to be selling it for, and it's going to vary from country to country. I am going to be putting links in the description so you can find it whatever country you're in, because Boya sent me all of those links. But me, myself, I don't know. I do know that Boya is very competitive for price. They will price this thing very, very competitively. And that is one of the things that a lot of YouTubers need, because gear is endless. We have to get different cameras. We have to get different microphones, because microphones are also like tools. You're not going to use one microphone. You're going to have a selection of microphones for different use cases. So who is this microphone for? What is the use case for this one? Well, there's a lot of people out there that have camcorders and bridge cameras and mirrorless cameras, and they will not switch to a DJI system. And because of that, this is a good alternative for them. There's also a lot of people that don't like the way DJI does their firmware updates on their microphones, because you have to plug them into a laptop, download files. You can do all of this one through the app I showed you. It just kind of popped up. And by the way, that was actually one of my ideas that I sent to them. Now, I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but I did send them an email saying it would be really cool if you could do firmware updates with the microphone through the app, so you don't have to go to your laptop and download different files and then transfer the files. It works really well. Now, as far as getting the audio files off of the microphone that are recorded internally, you can get those on your phone too. I use USB Media Explorer, but I also said to Boya, hey, let's do that through the app. Maybe they'll do that in the future. You'll be able to listen to your files and even transfer them through, to CapCut or some other editing software that you're using. They may have different ways that you can transfer the files. I think there's going to be some firmware updates in the future that are really going to be game-changing. And I don't like using that word, but game-changing for me is convenience. Game-changing for me is something that's just cool. That's what I call game-changing. Some people use that word too much. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, or you're on vacation and you don't have your laptop and you need to do a firmware update on this thing, you could do it from anywhere in the world. So what are the things that I think they need a little bit of improvement on? Well, the furry little wind muff that goes on top of this thing could be a little more stiff. Now, I've picked this microphone up by the wind muff and I've shook it, and it doesn't come off. But if I shook it hard enough, it might come off. And for me, I kind of like things to be stuck on there a little more firmly. But it's kind of nitpicking, I know, but I just thought that I would mention it in case somebody else felt the same way. The other thing is the wired microphones. So these ones here that plug into the wireless system, in my opinion, they should have had an L bracket, because it has the ability of locking that cable down so that it doesn't pull out. But when you have it like this, it's going to do this, and I really don't like that. But I did solve that problem by ordering these little L connectors, and I'm going to show a picture of those in the corner right now. And there wasn't really much else I didn't like. What I really did like was the noise cancellation. That noise cancellation can reduce up to 40 decibels. The strong setting, in my opinion, was a little too strong, because it kind of made my voice sound a little flangy. It did do a really good job, though, of eliminating all of the traffic noise, except for the very, very loudest. Like that fire truck that went through, there was no stopping that one. But the mild noise cancellation, the one that's in the middle, it kept my voice pretty natural, and it took that noise level down a lot. And that's the one that I think most people will probably use. Now, some people would say, why do you even need that? You just do it in post. Well, if you're doing a live stream, you can't do it in post. And some people might not have the time to go through all of their videos and do it in post. They might want to just do it now. And if the noise cancellation is good enough, why not? Do it now. It's more convenient. If it makes your workflow faster, then use it. And I think the mild setting is really, really good. I do think they need to tweak the strong setting and bring it down a notch. Not too much, but just a little bit. But these are just firmware updates. These aren't really big issues. You know, things like this and the connector, these are small things. Now, the fact that they include 2 of these with the microphone system, and they even give you a little carry bag to go along with it on top of the charging base, is really nice. So the quality, the fit and finish are really, really good. If you get one of these, you're not going to be disappointed on that. They feel very, very premium. So the other thing I liked was the touchscreen. It was very responsive. And once I figured out where everything was, it was easy to get at. So the other feature that I really liked was the custom EQ setting. Because a lot of people are going to really want to fine-tune these microphones to their personal needs. And that is also a game changer. Hate to say it again. One last thing I'd like to tell you is that the battery life on this is really, really good. You can get over 6 hours with all of the features turned on, and that's the recording, everything, or 9 hours if it's turned off. And as far as the recording feature goes, I think I showed you like 698 minutes if it's 32-bit float, and over 800 minutes if you're not using that. I want to thank Boya for sending me out this microphone system. It was a real pleasure getting it before anybody else could get it in the stores. It's something that a little tech junkie like me really, we've always dreamed of that. Hey, I'd like to get something before it even gets into the stores. And that's really cool. But I wanted to make sure that I was going to do an honest review. So I turned down the sponsorships. I turned down any affiliate links. I turned down everything that I possibly could to try to keep my review as level as I could. And that's the best I can do for this type of an embargo. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and that notification bell so that you can see the comparison between this microphone system and the DJI Mic 2 and the DJI Mic Mini. And I may even throw in the Boya Mini just as a comparison, when I do the smartphone. So take care, be safe at work, and I will see you at that next video. Bye.